Much appreciated.
Ricky, it's Jen. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Jen.
Jen, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we did.
I like her.
What time is executive tomorrow night? $5:30?
5. She's paying attention. Like I said, I better calm down.
Cheryl, are you ready?
That's sequestered into a separate.
Your words, yeah.
Okay, ready? Just hold it down until turn, like, hold it. Okay, all right.
Jeez.
I just like that part. Sorry. Meeting's called to order. For all those who care to join me for our Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Okay, with that, Terry, roll call, please.
Mrs. Fish. Dr. Gatachu.
Yes.
Mr. Gordon.
Here.
Dr. Gursky.
Here.
Mr. Kirsch.
Here.
Mr. Reichard.
Here.
Mrs. Edmeades.
Here.
Mr. Huron.
Here. Thank you. Okay, moving through our agenda tonight of our special meeting. The next section is for public comment and is our standard protocol and has been for many years. Our first public comment is the agenda items only. So I open it up to the room first, which I don't see anybody raising their hand, and then I'll turn it over. Is that Jeff still out there in virtual land tonight?
Yep, I'm here, and there is.
Hi, Jeff.
Hey, how's it going?
Good,
There's
thank you.
No one on as an attendee, so no public
Okay.
comment at this time.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Appreciate that. Okay, moving down our agenda tonight, we have tonight's focus is our school board vacancy. And I will package it this way. There's been a school board vacancy as of April 17th, 2021, due to the resignation of Corda Uwasa. The position was advertised as an opening on the board, and the deadline to send letters of interest was May 5th, 2021, which was a few days ago. Okay, so the next order of business tonight is we will conduct an interview process with our, as it turns out, our one candidate. And I want to say welcome. Hello, Mrs. Gordon. Thank you for coming tonight, and thank you for applying for this very important position for our community. We've put together a few questions that we'd like to run down. Take your time. I'll just read them off, and then we can just open it up. I think, have we done that before? If there's questions, like, yeah, if we just create dialogue as questions come up, we'll do it that way, unless somebody feels otherwise. Okay, so we'll start. I feel like I'm in a game show. I can't help it. I gotta just say, I'm laughing at myself tonight, but I'm like, okay, question number one. All right, sorry, no, this is serious, you guys. This is amazingly serious, but so Mrs. Gordon, thank you again for coming. A question we'd like to ask tonight is, what do you think might be some of our school district's greatest needs right now, and how do you think those needs might be met?
Sure. So first of all, I had submitted some information to Jerry at the Press Enterprise for the primary election. So is it okay if I just kind of work off of that?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
That's a great idea.
So one of my priorities, and I know this is shared by the board, is to ensure that there are resources for the social and emotional well-being of the students of the Danville School District. I know you've been working through that, and you're hearing the concerns of parents, counselors, staff, I guess for the last year and a half. So really through the COVID, and then before that, you were working, I think, with Dr. Stacy Cummings at Geisinger, and I think Mike Mays was involved just in the study that you did, and the findings that some support for social and emotional well-being was needed for the district. So I feel strongly that those needs need to be addressed first. And if social and emotional needs and other needs that children have are not met, we can't properly focus on academics. So I think right now that's a focus just because of the environment that we're in right now. But I think if we can meet those needs, then we can more properly focus on the academics of the district.
Great, thank you. Okay, second question, there's 5 questions, Christine. Second question is, financial resources are often limited. What, in your opinion, can be done to help our district gain support for spending our finances on areas of need?
So I think just a comment that I think Bobby, your business manager, does an excellent job, and I've listened to some of the presentations that she's done at the board meeting in explaining in an easy to understand way what the options are for the district, what funding options, what the needs are, what if there are options, or even if there aren't, if you know, sometimes there are decisions that need to be made. But I think being transparent with the public is important. I think helping the board and the public understand. She seems to have be very in tune with the ways that funding can be used and what funding is available. So I think if the public understands that, it makes it easier for decisions to be made by the board and supported by the public.
Great, thank you. Okay, next question. What do you see as the future challenges for our school district?
I think still right now is kind of the learning loss that you've talked about. So I heard maybe yesterday or maybe this morning that kindergarten in particular, because of children not being able to be in person, that may be a sustained loss. So I think, again, Danville's done a great job of making sure children get back to school, but the in-person characteristic of kindergarten is so important. So I think addressing the learning loss is one of the challenges that you have immediately, as well as other again, primarily younger children seem to have indicated to have the greatest need. So I think that's one of our challenges right now. Again, I think the district has done very well through this environment, and I think we can continue to focus on making sure we're putting resources into the learning loss that we need to address to make sure children can be successful moving forward.
Great, thank you. Next question, please describe your past experience with resolving conflict.
So I've worked for Geisinger at the health plan for the last 20 years, and I've worked in account management. So there's been, health insurance is extremely interesting to me, but not to everybody. And not that there's disagreements, but sometimes there's just problems to be solved. So I think every day I work with our customers, our consultants, and our vendors to come up with the best solutions. I think maybe an example just on your board was the health insurance settling the negotiation and moving forward with the plan that was chosen for the teachers. And I had expressed to you at the time, Mr. Huron, that when I went to the board meeting, there was some discussion that the administration is here and the teachers are here. And it seemed to me when I was listening to that it couldn't be that we couldn't meet somewhere in the middle. So in my opinion, there's always room to meet in the middle, I think, if we're willing to understand both sides and come to a compromise, which I had expressed to you at the time, and that's what the board did. Really to stay where you were and to go into a strike just didn't make sense to me. I just felt like there was so much room in the middle to compromise, and I, was very glad to see that you were able to do that, and I think that was the perfect solution. So I'm an advocate of making sure that both positions are clear and that that everything in the middle is looked at as an option.
Great, thank you. Okay, our final question before we might turn it over to just general conversation or any of the above is really, do you have any thoughts or comments that you'd like to either ask us, share with us, kind of an open-ended opportunity? We have touched on it in the beginning, but certainly want to give you another opportunity if there's anything else that you.
I guess I also just wanted to say, and again, this is something that I submitted, is that I have strong support for extracurricular activities. I think that has been extremely helpful for the involvement and the camaraderie that the students have been able to have, especially over a difficult time, even not in this pandemic environment, but it creates a sense of teamwork, working together, solving problems together. But I think the ability that the students had, and especially at Danville, we've been very successful in sports, other extracurricular activities, and I think making that opportunity available has been important to getting the students through a difficult time. I think it can always be a benefit.
Okay, excellent. All right, that was the questions that we had prepared. Does anybody on the board or here want to kind of open it up to general discussion? Thoughts or questions? I want to ask her like a super hard question that I might not have thought of.
Mr. Huron, it's Jen Gursky. May I
Hi, Jen
speak? Is that
Gursky.
okay? Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Yep.
very well, thank you.
So this is Gordon. First, I would like to thank you for putting your name into consideration for joining this board. We have experienced some movement of people on and off of this board. And I think that in the public's eye, that could be misconstrued as an unstable board or a board that does not work well together. And what the reality of that situation is that people have personal things in their lives that come up and it causes things to change for them. And so I'm appreciative of your willingness to step onto a board. This board, from a personal experience, I can say, is a very collaborative, very student-focused, and very community-focused board. Our goals are really very simple, and that's to serve the best interests of the child while we're remaining as physically responsible as we can and giving the best education that we can. So I know we have multiple people in the community running for a spot who did not, as it appears, you're the only person interested at this time, who wanted to get actively involved as quickly as possible and start to make a difference. So I commend you on that. My question to you is, why did you decide it was time to come forward now when everyone else really is taking a back seat instead of jumping full into the commitment that you're making?
Thank you for the question, Dr. Gursky. So as I stated in the beginning, I am running for the primary to be considered for the board next year. But I really thought I had an opportunity here to get involved early. I like what you said, and it reminded me of something else I wanted to mention. What is in the best interest of the students is also my priority. I think if any decision is made and we can all feel comfortable that the decision was made in the best interest of the students, that we really have an opportunity to feel good about having done that for the community. And I'm sorry, you might have asked a couple questions. Did I miss any in there, Dr. Gursky?
I think for me, it was really just saying thank you for rising to the challenge to want to be a part of something that's proactive for children, and really just any specific reason why you wanted to get involved early when so many others are sitting back.
Yeah, and that did remind me of another comment I wanted to make. Since I have been interested in joining and listening to the board meetings, I've noticed that your board does work well together. I don't see where there's conflict that isn't easily resolved, and I don't see a reason why the public should feel like being a board member ought to be contentious or will be contentious, because I think this board, from what I've seen, works very well together.
Thank you, Mrs. Gordon.
You're welcome. Thank you, Dr. Gursky.
Thank you, Jen. That was well put. Appreciate it. And thank you, Mrs. Gordon. Does anybody else want to share a thought or comments? Yes, sir.
So I would like to second Dr. Gursky about appreciating your coming forward at this time. It's challenging. The other candidates chose to take the wrong path and choose to spread bad news, wrong news, misinformation, never stepped up to the challenge. I thank you so much for doing, and I really appreciate your responses to Chris's questions.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gitecho. That's very meaningful. Thank you.
Anybody else? No? Okay. I'll just add, and it's just kind of one and the same, but I'm a big fan of, if you're going to talk the talk, walk the walk. And there's just too much talking going on, and it's not helping this community to do all the talking. And then the people that are in this room and put the time and work in are making the difference, and we're walking the walk. And I'm honored to be a part of this group, because I had no idea what it was going to be like, and I am amazed how interesting and productive we can be. So hopefully that continues on. So thank you for stepping up.
Welcome. Thank you.
All right, with that said, the board will now take action. We'll move through the agenda. The board will now take action to appoint Christine Gordon as director for the Danville Area School District School Board to replace Corda Uwasa, who resigned on April 17th, 2021. The appointed director's term will run from May 11th, 2021 through December 6th, 2021. The terms of school directors begin and end on the first Monday of December following the November election that year. With that said, right, so with that said, we do a roll call vote to,
We need motions.
oh, excuse me. Do I have?
I'll make the motion.
I second.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Gitacho,
Yes.
Mr. Gordon,
Yes.
Dr. Gursky,
Yes.
Mr. Kirsch,
Yes.
Mr. Reichard, Mrs. Edmeades,
Yes.
Mr. Huron.
Yes. Motion carries. Welcome aboard, I guess.
Thank
Yay.
you all very much.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. That's awesome. So it's tomorrow night, the night she brings the food? Oh.
Now, tomorrow night, you said we're going to have our meeting earlier.
Yeah.
Executive session tomorrow will be at 5:45, but we'd like, the food will be served at 5:30 if you want to be here. So we're ready to speak at 5:45. We want everybody in their seat at that time.
Chris will hit you over the head with the gavel.
I, Christine Gordon,
I, Christine Gordon,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey, and defend
obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution
and Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will
and that I will
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of my office with fidelity.
of my office with fidelity.
You're official. Congratulations, and I really look forward to working with you, Mrs. Gordon. So I'm excited.
Congratulations. Okay.
Congrats.
All right, with that said, we'll just do a quick second public comment period. Once again, this has been our standard practice for many years, and this one is open to any general comments by the public. Comments at all. So Jeff, did anyone join us? Is there anybody out there?
Yes, we have a public comment.
Okay, great. Thank you. Please state your
unmute-
name and address before you make the public comment.
Please unmute your microphone and state your name and address.
can't hear you yet. Jeff, we can't hear whoever's trying to make a public comment.
Yes, at this time, they're still muted. Please unmute your microphone and state your name and address.
Jeff, if they're not able to do that, is there a phone they can call in and be put on speaker? I would hate not to have them have an opportunity for comment.
Yeah, they can also call. I will put it, oh, they dropped. I was going to put it in the chat. Grab the webinar information here. I will put it in the chat. If they join again, they can. We'll wait a second here to see if they rejoin.
I know that's not standard, but it seemed like they were having trouble, so that was the only reason why I suggested it.
Yep. I'm going to put it in. Phone number in chat. They come back.
While we're waiting, Dr. Boyle, is it possible to make sure, I know we're using social media a little bit more. That's something we've started trying to do as a district. I think it's important that what the candidate said tonight prior to being confirmed as a new member is really available and open to the public to hear. I don't know if there's some way on social media to say, if you're interested in hearing more about our new board member or something to that effect, please click on this link and that would take them to the YouTube recording or something. I just think it's important to hear the values and the things that Mrs. Gordon talked about and not just see that somebody new has been added to the board. What she said had great impact on me, and I'm sure on the community, it will also be making an impact.
Dr. Gursky, that's something that Mr. Ryan takes care of after every board meeting. So we'll make sure that it's referenced. And I may also then try and see if we can have a link put on Facebook as well.
Thank you, Dr. Boyle. I appreciate it.
No problem.
I will post, in case the other the person that was in is on YouTube, I will bring up and I put the number on our screen for the board meeting. I don't know how long you want to wait. Just let me know.
Jeff, do you see that?
This
I don't
time
know.
they have not joined yet.
Mike's not even on.
Yeah, I don't know if we could hear you.
Oh. All right, well, I think when, in the best interest of the group and everybody else, there's another meeting tomorrow night and other opportunities to reach out to the school district if there's other concerns,
Mr.
questions.
Huron, she is back
Excuse me.
on.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, she's back on.
okay.
All right. Go ahead and unmute and state your name and address.
Melissa Specht, 1336 Bloom Road. I just want to touch base on everything that the new board member said. Mental health is a major discussion that has been taking place within the district the past week and a half. And there are many parents who are talking the talk and walking the walk. It's just, we are falling on deaf ears. And we have reached out to the board members along with the superintendent and administrators. And we will be meeting with all of you tomorrow and speaking out at the board meeting. And I just want to let you know that we are here. We are speaking out, and it is something that we are trying to address. And I hope that the new board member who was just voted in, I'm pretty sure that she understands how important it is and that it needs to be the main focus before academics, just like she said. And with the changes coming, with the staff being moved around, it's a major mental health issue at the middle school for the students who are in the emotional support services. That needs to be addressed. That needs to be the first and foremost thing that this board addresses. And we will continue to discuss this tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
All right, all right, thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. All right, Jeff, is there anybody else tonight?
There's no more at this time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, with that said, do I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you, Mr. Reichert. Do I have a second? Thank you, Mrs. Edmeades. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, no? Motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Meeting's over.
Fair enough.